Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Adiola. Welcome. So if you're joining, just type your name. Hi, Sylvia. Type your name and where you're joining in from. So I'll go first. Hi, Tinu. My name is Jules or Juliet, and I'm joining in from Lagos. So just type your name and where you're joining in from as you join. Awesome. Thank you, Linda from Lagos. Hi, Dee from Lagos. Chizoba from Lagos, welcome. Hi, Sylvia from Abuja. Godson Abby. Hi, Ify. Hi, everyone. So welcome, welcome, welcome to this June A Roundtable. I know you would love to see your faces, but we can't. So you have to make do with all these beautiful faces that you have on the side of your screen. Hi, Wakilat from Lagos. Hello. Oh, thanks for joining. Thanks for, just keep it coming, keep it coming. Hi, Adora, keep it coming. And we move, right? So those in the chat room can see where you're joining in from and your name. Now, welcome to this e-roundtable for June. And it's been organized by WIMBIZ, as you know, if you're here. And WIMBIZ is a non-profit organization that has been on ground for over 20 years. WIMBIZ has implemented so many programs that has aimed to inspire, empower, and advocate for greater representation of women in leadership positions in the public and private sectors. So today we're going to meet so many amazing women from Stanbic IBTC. You can see all their faces. Forget how young they look. These are all executive women at the helm of affairs in IBTC Group. Now, before we start, I would like to call on our ED WIMBIZ, Hansatu, to please give us some opening remarks and to give us some ginger. We want some ginger today because we're going to learn a lot about money. So Hansatu, the lecture is yours.
So good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of our founders, our transition committee, our life members, our associates, of course, the management team of Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMBIZ. I first of all want to welcome everybody. I want to thank you for joining us today. I also want to use this opportunity to welcome, of course, all our panelists and appreciate Stanbic IBTC, not just for this roundtable, but for their partnership over the years. They are one of our longest standing partners, and WIMBIZ as an NGO is able to do what we do, which is to inspire women, to empower them, to advocate for them, and to help them to network so that they attain leadership positions in business, in management, and in public service because of partnerships that work. And Stanbic IBTC are one of those partners that have really stood by us over the years. I will mention that money is a critical aspect of any kind of leadership. And we have seen over time that even when we talk about business, a lot of our entrepreneurs, it's always about funding and access to funding. We do know that money plays a very critical role, and a lot of women have a lot of questions around money. And that is why we partnered with Stanbic IBTC. We wanted to hear from all the experts in their network just to help us. And I am really proud to see that Stanbic IBTC is one of the organizations that has a lot of women that are in leadership positions, which are the things that WIMBIZ keeps pushing for. So I do celebrate Stanbic for their gender parity and equity. And even I am looking forward, my notebook is right here. I'm looking forward to jotting down notes and to engaging with them after. You know, it's not just about the roundtable, it is about the engagement with Stanbic IBTC afterwards so that they can help us to scale up our personal finances, our business finances, as well as our investments. So thank you once again, Stanbic IBTC, and thank you, Juliet. We do appreciate everybody, and we hope everybody, in fact, you can see people just logging in at the speed of lightning. So we look forward to a very insightful session. And thank you once again, Stanbic.
Thank you, Hasato. That was really lovely. And really, we cannot thank IBTC enough for this opportunity to make money. And I like opportunities like this because we get to have our own money and we show up to the guys, right? Because there's this myth that when the guy has money, can have any girl. But what happens when the girl has money? Not every guy can have her, you see what I mean? We're going to learn a lot about the woman and her money today, but I want you to stay put while I call on the Executive Director, Investment Management of the IBTC Asset Management Limited, Busola JJ Luo, to please come and give her opening remark.
Yeah,
Busola.
Thank you very much, Juliet. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the WIMBIZ Roundtable session. And would like to say thank you for creating time to join today and to learn from us and also get insightful comment from all of the experts that we've outlined here today. Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMBIZ, has continued to inspire thousands of women since its inception through various programs. Today, Stanbic IBTC has partnered with WIMBIZ to bring to you this month's special edition of the Roundtable panel session discussion. At Stanbic IBTC, we are passionate about women, and we are proud to say that over the years, we have helped a lot of Nigerian women build sustainable wealth, and we continue to prefer solutions to help women overcome economic challenges. This special edition, and the theme for this special edition is tagged The Woman and Her Money, Empowerment Through Business, Trust, Private Banking, Stockbroking, and Insurance. It focuses on women empowerment and how investing in business, stocks, trust, and other financial properties can help women grow and manage their finances. All our panelists are seasoned experts in business and financial sector who bring from their wealth of knowledge and experience to teach us on what to do and what to look at. Today, we will try as much as possible to demystify wealth as it relates to women, and also I'm looking forward to an insightful session with everyone today. I'm super excited because I know you are in for an amazing time. Sit back, relax, and get your questions and comments ready. Welcome once again. Over to you, Juliet.
Thank you so much, Busola. And she is right. We're going to learn so much today. So to be very, very smart, to have your notebook and your pen handy. I have mine. Don't worry about my visual background. I'm ready to learn and be ready to ask questions as we tag along. All right, so we're going to do a quick poll for just about 2 minutes, and I want you all to participate. We're like 300 in the house. Please participate. WIMBIZ HQ, can you please put up the poll? Just about 3 questions. Just answer quickly, answer honestly. Keep the answers coming in. Just 4 simple questions. Perhaps I should just participate as well. How can I make more money? How do I've participated. Hello, Esther from Asaba. All right, so the time is up. Thanks for participating in the poll. Thank you for participating. So now we're going to go to the meat of today's e-roundtable. We're going to learn, and our theme, as attested by everyone that has spoken before, is the woman and her money. Not the woman and her husband's money, the woman and her money. And like Busola said, we're going to focus on empowerment through business, trust, private banking, stockbroking, and insurance. We don't have Umana today. We're not doing Umana, we're not doing MMM. We're just going to focus on the woman and her money using these sub-themes. Now I have 5 experts in the house. Like I said, don't look at these young faces. These are women at the helm of affairs in the IBTC group. Strong women. And stay with me while I read their profiles. So let's start with Bumi, in no particular order, but let's just start with Bumi. Can we please put up Bumi's profile? Now, Bumi is the Chief Executive of Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers Limited. She started her career in the Stanbic Group in 2005. She has worked in diverse departments in these past 17 years. She has been in different sectors from banking to capital markets, to asset management, and other financial services sector. She's an accountant by training, an IEMBA alumni, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, an associate member of ICANN, and a member of the Money Market Association of Nigeria. This is our first panelist of today. Now, call on our second panelist, Ibiyemi Mezu. Ibiyemi is the Executive Director, Business Development. She has over 20 years post-qualification experience spanning different industries, from pension to insurance and even banking. Her mantra is that a family support system is pertinent for work-life balance. She's a stickler for personal development and believes that every woman should take the bold steps and be intentional about her personal growth. Every woman should learn to take advantage of every support available and have a clear definition of what success means to her. Ladies, please meet Ibiyemi. Next up, our third panelist for today. Drum roll, just hold on, I'm still coming. And it is no other person than Amy. Now, Amy is the Executive Director, Stanbic IBTC Trustee Limited. Amongst other responsibilities, she oversees the estate planning division, where she assists high net worth clients in the creation and administration of their private trust and estate, of course. Now, she provides solutions that relates to estate planning and helps them to achieve their defined objectives. This role she has diligently carried out for over 11 years. Now, her career has also spanned over 2 decades as well, and she's also an executive MBA alumni from the Swiss Business School. She has been opportune to work in diverse roles in the IBTC group. She's married, blessed with 2 awesome daughters, and one of her favorite pastime is swimming. This is Amy. Our fourth panelist is Bisola Fashade. Bisola is the head affluent clients team for Stanbic IBTC Bank. With an accomplished financial services career spanning over 21 years, Bisola is a result-oriented executive and a seasoned professional in business development, retail banking, relationship management, and wealth advisory. She's also passionate about the personal finance space, as well as building diverse teams to drive resilience, adaptability, and innovation in today's environment. Now, Bisola has a beautiful daughter, and she enjoys traveling to new places with new experiences. Please meet Bisola. Our fifth panelist for today, our final panelist, by the way, is Remy. Now, Remy is the team lead, business development, enterprise banking, amongst other responsibilities. She's in charge of the digital and enablement team for enterprise banking. She's an accountant by training and also a member of ICANN. She's a chartered accountant. Just like the other panelists, Remy also holds an MBA and has 11 years work experience under her armpit. She has been in different parts of the commercial banking space. She has diverse experience. And to relax, she enjoys life. She likes to watch movies and to listen to rejuvenating music. Ladies, these are 5 panelists for today's session that will be taking us through the woman and her money. If you can, please give them a round of applause wherever you are. These are amazing. I agree, I say these are amazing amazing women with intimidating profiles. Awesome. So I'd like to call on them one after the other. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Farida. Thank you so much. Not enough hands to applaud these women and their achievements. Amazing, amazing, beautiful, bold, confident, intelligent women who are here to also give back to women like them. Amazing, amazing. All right. Thank you guys. So now I'm going to call on them in no particular order. Maybe I'll start with Bisola. So they can just, let's hear their voice, right? We've seen their faces, we've heard their bios. Let's hear their voices. Let them tell us something that we can write down in our famous notebook. All right. So Bisola, maybe you can start. Just a thing or two of wisdom so we can learn. You have to unmute, Bisola.
Thanks, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today amongst my distinguished panelists. You know, when you were reading the profile, I was like, oh God, what do I need to add? What do I need to add to my profile? What do I need to add to what I need to go and do to achieve more? But it's really great to be amongst women that are very successful in their own right. We all come here today with different level of expertise. But one of the things that stood out for me, and I say this, is everyone has a right and everyone can be wealthy. I believe in that principle so much. We're not here to sell MMM. We're not here to sell quick rich scheme. You need to be very deliberate in your finances and what you want to do. And I always say this, my biggest saying in the world is that thing that says a drop of water makes a mighty ocean. Start today, start small. And be disciplined about it, be consistent about it. And I confirm to you that you will surely get there. From a private banking perspective, I sit in front of so many different individuals, so many different walks of life. We all get money from different sources. I don't want to go into the sources, but it doesn't matter how much you get. There must be that little portion that you can take. I always give this example. If you got 100,000, your situation would be the same if that money was 95,000. What that tells me is 5,000, you can put it away. And I'm not saying put it away because you want to buy a car. I'm not saying put it away because you want to buy a house. Just put it away and forget about it. Because when you are able to do that consistently, you'll be shocked when you look back months later, years later, to realize, oh, this 5,000 did not kill me. It pinched me a bit, but it didn't kill me. Look at what it has built up today. I'm using such a small example because for most of us here too, it's possible that our numbers may be higher than 100,000. It may be a bigger figure, but there must be that portion of it that it would not make a difference. When I mean it would not make a difference, yes, we say every little bit helps. But what I'm saying, when you think about your future and you're able to put that amount away, your situation for that particular moment in time remains the same. Therefore, you should be able to put that away and forget about it. Because only when you have built that nest egg, when you have built that large deposit, are you able to now sit comfortably and say, okay, good, I want to buy a car. Good, I want to buy a house. Good, I want to start my business. Are you able to go deep into this pool that you have been able to create? They always ask me, come up with bulk money now. Perhaps that's going to be difficult, but because I've started this a long time ago. And another saying that I enjoy, they said the best time to have started was then. Guess what the next best time is? Now. You need to start now. And I'm sure you will look back and you'll be happy with this. I'd like to stop here for more questions. Thanks.
I didn't want you to stop. Thank you so much. Thank you. Everyone has a right to be wealthy. Start today, start small, but just be diligent. Thank you so, so much. That was heartwarming and that was so, so true, spot on. Thank you, Bisola. Thank you. I saw the chat room was on fire. Everyone agreed. Thank you. Let's go to Bumi. Bumi is ready to set this house on fire. I can see Bumi. Bumi, please unmute your microphone and tell us your words of wisdom, just a tip or two for us to put in our famous notebook.
Thank you so much, Juliet. I believe you can hear me properly. Such a pleasure to be on this great platform, the WIMBIZ platform, and to be among the distinguished ladies to speak on this important topic of money. I think the importance cannot be overemphasized, and the importance of women too in the society cannot be overemphasized. Just to pick up from where Bisola stopped, I think the most important thing is starting small. I always tell people, because everybody is investing doesn't mean you have to also rush into invest. Start small, set clear, defined goals. These are what I want to achieve by investing, and you learn through the process. You get better at it. As you start, you go along the way, you learn. And as you learn, you get better. So the fact that people are investing, they're making money doesn't mean that you should join the bandwagon. You need to have a financial plan in place. You need to set your defined goals. You need to know what are my objectives, what are my financial objectives. That in itself is very important, and to guide your investment plan or your investment journey, which will ultimately help you in determining how you want to go about spending your money. Thank you.
Awesome. Show some love to Bumi in the chat room, please. Thank you so much, Bumi. I knew you were going to set this house on fire. She continued from where Bisola stopped, being diligent, being consistent, starting small. However, have a plan. Have a plan. So you have your ladder on the right wall. That was amazing, because, and you also said something that I love, Bumi, you get better as you invest. I love that. Thank you so, so much, Bumi. My notebook is almost full. Yes, the love is in the chat room. Bumi, you were spot on. Thank you. Who will I call now? My heart is pumping. Let's call Amy. Amy, let's hear from you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I believe you can hear me, Juliet.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity to also be speaking on this platform. WIMBIZ has been doing great things, and thank you for having us speak about money. So I'll just add a few things that Bumi and Bisola have said. Multiple income streams is extremely important. You have to find them. You have to find multiple income streams. Align with the times. A lot of people just think certain spaces, it's not for me. Begin to do your investigations around that and expose yourself to the information that is available. The world is going digital. Cryptocurrency is one of those things. A lot of people think that it's too risky, it's too risky, it's too risky, so I will not do it. Do your due diligence, seek professional advice. Another thing that is important to note here is the power of compounding. It is extremely important that you begin to find avenues where you can compound your funds. To beat inflation, there are ways around it. Sometime 2 years back, dollars was around 350. Today, it's around 600. You can imagine if you were diligent in setting aside certain amounts monthly in that currency, for instance, you would have been able to safeguard against inflation. The last thing for me, I would like to say, you need to be able to conserve your wealth. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. Thank you. Over to you, Juliet.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Some love for Amy. I was just writing and she just rounded up. Please, let's give her some love. I love this IBTC team. They are not working in silos, they are working together. Everybody is continuing from where the other person stopped. Did you notice that? So now Amy is talking about multiple streams of income, not putting all your eggs in one basket. I love that. Do your research, seek professional advice, and think of compounding your investment. I love that. You're going to talk more compounding. I didn't understand that English. That's your Swiss MBA talking. We're not sure, but you're going to tell us more, right? But you talked about crypto, which most of us are scared of, myself inclusive. But you said we should do research, seek professional advice. I love that. So invest in sync with the times that you find yourself, which is now, and think of multiple streams of income. Yeah, spot on, Amy. You see, the room is on fire and they agree with Amy. Here are we going to now. Do we do Remy? Remy, do we come to you? I don't want this thing to end. I am learning.
Yes, you can.
All right, Yemi, please go.
Okay, thanks, Juliet. So I'm just going to piggyback on what my leaders have said on the call, to say that you have to be resilient as a woman in this time and age where women have understood the importance of having their own money, not their husband's money, like you said earlier, Juliet. So as a woman, you have to be resilient. You have to be able to put aside funds like Bumi has mentioned, and then be able to take calculated risk, ensure that you invest in the real sector, such that you're able to create jobs, you're able to create employment for people, and you're creating value. You're not just storing up your funds in banks and other finance houses. So the goal is save money, make money, save money, and invest in real sector. Thank you.
Juliet, you're muted.
Awesome. I was talking about love, and that is when I did not unmute myself. I said I was in love with everyone in this organization. You see what I mean? We're talking about women. Not only are we thinking of creating wealth, we should add value. So Remy has added the CSRO part of things, not being selfish, but now thinking of adding value to other people after you make your money. I think that was amazing. When you think of only your personal growth for growth itself, which is for yourself, you haven't started. But when you now think of multiplying wealth to the point where others will now gain value from it, yes, Dominion. I mean, that is epic. There's this saying that in my organization where they say, train a woman, you train a nation. When the woman gets it right, almost everything in a circle of influence gets it right. So thank you so much, Remy, for that. Now I'm going to call on Ibi and me, our last, but definitely not our least panelist. At this point, start noting your questions, because they're not going to tell us this and go. We need to like really soak up on their wealth of experience and knowledge. Amy, please. We're still highlighting Amy.
Yes, thank you very much, Juliet.
You're welcome.
And thank you for the opportunity. I feel very privileged to be here this morning talking about the woman and her money. I think this is a topic that we don't talk enough about. People take it for granted that women do women, but I think it's very essential to just keep it on the top burner and to keep educating ourselves. I'll take off from where my colleagues left it, and I'll try to just wrap it up, in terms of just the key things that I believe that we should always pay attention to. I think that each and everyone must take responsibility for their financial freedom. Financial freedom is possible and everybody deserves it, but for that to happen, you must take responsibility. Oftentimes we leave these things to other people, or we just take it on a day-to-day basis. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then you move on to the next thing. As a woman, we have to be deliberate. We have to take responsibility. We have to plan. We have to have clear goals on what it is that we're trying to achieve. And I must say that everybody's goal is different. So oftentimes we're comparing what this person is doing. This person is now in agriculture. I want to put money in, this scheme or that scheme. You need to take a step back and reflect on what it is that you want for yourself. What are your goals? And how and when do you want to achieve those goals? It's very important. And own it, just be responsible for it. Educate yourself. And I think that on a final note, I always advise that, you fail forward. Don't keep making the same mistakes. It's not always a smooth or perfect journey. Where you make mistakes on this financial journey, take the learning and move forward, but never stop. Your financial journey is lifelong, from cradle to grave. Even after you have gone, there are things that you need to have put in place to make sure that you can transfer your legacy seamlessly. So take responsibility for it. And I can assure you that things would improve as time goes on. Thank you very much. And back to you, Juliet.
I wasn't aware that there would be so much gems dropping at such short notice. I would have come with my personal assistant to take notes. That was amazing. Please show Ibiyemi some love. What she said was amazing. She's talking about wealth as a legacy, something that Louis Vuitton did so well. the return is on like the 4th generation. So you're not making money for just you. You are now like keeping money for generations to come. That was amazing. And I also like the take charge part, take responsibility part. You are in charge. Stop being entitled. Stop expecting other people to make your financial decisions for you. The woman you are, yes, but take charge. I love that, Ideyemi. Thank you so much. Show these 5 executive ladies some executive love. Just show them some love. Amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, guys. Yes, I agree. The chat is on fire. So I know the IBTC ladies agree with you. Awesome. When you're done showing some love, I need you now to start articulating your questions, because like I said, they have given us an overview of what they think we need at the moment, and they did cohesively, they did together as a team. This is a point where you can now ask questions concerning you, concerning where you currently find yourself. Because like she said, like Ibiyemi said, we are taking charge of our financial situation. So please go to the Q&A. There's a Q&A dialogue box. I don't think it's the same as the chat room. So I already have 7 questions there. Let's see. Wow. Wow. Please type your questions in the Q&A chat room. I will be a selfish anchor today. Forgive me. I will ask my own questions first. Then I will come to the chat room. Sorry. Next time, request to be an anchor at a WIMBIZ event. I would like to start with Remi Lekun, if you do not mind. I have a question for you, please. You see, oftentimes, women encounter certain financial challenges in business and sometimes in life. The question I have is, how can we surmount these challenges, especially when we are leaders in those fields? Yeah, the challenges that are inherent in business with regards to financial. Yes, please.
Okay, thanks, Juliet, for that question. And I'm going to start by answering the question by piggybacking on what we just talked about on the nuggets that have been dropped here by my co-panelists. And I will start by saying that we're having more and more women going to starting up their own businesses, having more female entrepreneurs in Nigeria. It doesn't mean that the challenges that they face daily and that they have to summon daily is on the decline. But what is happening is that women have learned to cope with all those challenges. They have learned to manage those challenges and also focus on the end goal of running a profitable business, ensuring that their business is still a going concern while they keep being profitable. So what are the financial challenges that women face in today's world or this time and age? The major one is funding. You find out that a woman wants to start up a business and access to funding is very difficult because, number one, she's a startup. Most financial organizations will tell you that they don't fund startup, and then she's a miss, she's I don't know, she has a good business plan written, and then there's no money anywhere to execute what has been written down. So one of the things that I have some nuggets that I want to share. It's not 100%, but I can assure you that once you can abide by some of these nuggets, you're on the right track. It's a journey to have your financial freedom. So you have to do 1 or 2 things to get to your destination. So I'm going to share those nuggets quickly. So you have to be accountable. You have to ensure that you have you keep proper you do proper bookkeeping. Accountable in the sense that you're accountable for every income and every expenses you make in your business. You keep proper books, because as a financier, as a bank, those are the details, those are the information we would request for if you meet our lending criteria. So at every point in time, you have to ensure that you keep records, you are accountable. And as a female entrepreneur, ensure that you pay yourself salary, separate your personal expenses from your business expenses, because as a relationship manager, if you approach me for funding and I notice that your books are are everywhere. I'm seeing purchase of petrol for generator at home. I'm seeing payments to my tailor for Ashwebi, you know, for my friend's wedding and all. Immediately I know that there's something wrong. There's no proper bookkeeping. You've not been able to separate your personal expenses from your personal from your business expenses. And I'm sure that if I look deeper, I'll probably see maybe a housekeeping allowance from maybe Mr. A. So everything is just muddled up. I'm unable to separate your income and your expenses for your business from your personal expenditure. So that's a red flag. So it's one thing I want women to look at. So also you have to put a proper structure in place. There's something that I call the 3-in-1 CEO. You are the CEO, you are the CFO, you are the sales manager, you're also the customer experience person. So there's no room for you to even take out time to come up with initiatives, strategies to drive the growth of those business of your business. So you have to be able to separate those roles so that you have time to think, to look inwards, learn and unlearn and relearn things and skills that will help you deliver the growth or the budget you've set or the target you've set for yourself in your business. So you also have to be able to choose the right source of fund. You also have to be able to choose the right financial partner. Choosing the right source of fund involves you not using short-term funding or short-term financing to fund a long-term what's it called need. So you don't want to use a short-term loan, it's a temporary overdraft, a 3-month what's it called short-term loan to purchase an asset. You don't want to use that for business expansion. You just be putting yourself under undue pressure. Your cash flow would be eroded in it, and so you just put yourself under unnecessary stress. So you have to be able to find the right funding and then look for the right financial partner. You have to be able to look for a bank that supports small businesses. And in Stanbic IBTC, we identify and we understand the importance of small businesses on our economy as a whole. So Stanbic IBTC, so this is me saying it here with my full chest, that Stanbic IBTC is your right financial partner. So, but let's ensure that we do those checks and you're on your way to becoming a financially independent woman. Another thing you also have to look out for is to ensure that you don't have too many bank accounts all over. So you have a situation whereby you're running a small business, you have 5-6 bank accounts. And the question is, you're probably doing a turnover of about 1 million, 2 million, or even let's say 5 million on a monthly basis, and you have them spread across 20% here, 20% there. And so we can't even aggregate your financial history. We don't know what your transactional history is, except to start asking you for you to bring bank statements. Now in banking, we have all these digital loans whereby we have algorithms that just goes into the system and pre-qualify customers for short-term loans for 6 months, 1 month. If your transactional history is scattered all over, we don't get the right picture. We don't have the right snapshot of your business. So I would also implore us, I'm not saying you don't have alternatives. Yes, it's good to have alternatives, but in doing that, let's be careful to ensure that we don't have too many banks and we are not getting value from all those banks. And lastly, you have to keep learning. You have to keep getting skills so that you don't become obsolete, so that your strategies don't become obsolete, so that you are able to compete effectively in your industry. So I think that's it from me. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, Juliet.
You have answered the question and some other questions that I have not even asked.
Okay.
Who else has learned a lot just from Remy speaking? I have learned so much at the point I was like, wait, my head is going to explode. We should not fund long-term assets with short-term funds. That was amazing. I mean, not having multiple accounts. I mean, you were just dropping nuggets. Like, every woman should learn. Are these ladies not smart? The Stanbic IBTC group is amazing, with amazing people. Now, I've been getting messages on my phone that I should not ask my personal questions and still look at those in the chat room. And I will do that quickly and go back to my personal questions, if you don't mind. Thank you so much, Remy. Please don't go away because you might still answer some questions for us. So I'm looking at the chat room. This person is anonymous. Okay, it's Oluwatosin Aremu. And he or she's saying, what investment tools does Stanbic IBTC have that can effectively grow wealth, especially in these times of inflation? What investment tools does the Stanbic IBTC group have that can effectively grow wealth in these times of inflation? Who will help me? Bumi?
Okay, thank you so much, Juliet. Specifically to the question, I think what we have within the Stanbic group is what we call the dollar fund. Basically, for you to be able to the investment you have to do in terms to help you in terms of all this guide against this inflation, you need to put your money in some foreign denominated securities or foreign denominated investments. And how do you do that? You can do that through mutual funds or through buying stocks which are foreign denominated. And what we have within the mutual fund space is what we call the dollar mutual funds. So specifically, it helps you to invest in several assets that are foreign denominated. You can also invest in stocks that are listed on foreign markets. What we have also, which will be launching very soon within the stock broking space, is having access to the US market, where you can buy, where you can have access to foreign denominated stocks, which you can buy and sell from the comfort of your homes or your phones or your laptops. So this will help you very much in hedging the current inflation rate. At least once if the naira is depreciating, you know that you have some foreign investments that can help you hedge against such inflation and depreciation in the value of your assets. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bumi. Thank you so much. I would like this question to be taken by who would I give this question to? 1 second. Let's give it to a BME. BME, please. So the question is, sometimes we hear stories about how insurance has helped mitigate against the effects of unforeseen circumstances or occurrences, right? So will you say insurance awareness has gained traction in recent times? People are insuring against fire, insuring against different kinds of things. But will you say that awareness has gained traction in recent times amongst women? Because this is a forum strictly for women. And if yes, which insurance products are available on the IBTC, Stanbic IBTC group?
Thank you very much, Juliet. I think that insurance awareness has improved in the last few years, especially on the back of some of the major events we've seen, in Nigeria. A few years ago, we had the xenophobic attack, where properties and businesses were damaged. Some popular malls were also destroyed. And then following that, we've had the NSAS. And I think that within the space of 2 to 3 years, we've seen a lot of small businesses, start to insure, because all of a sudden people realize that, I can actually transfer this risk to someone else. Nobody wakes up and plans for their business to be destroyed overnight. But unfortunately, we still have people that don't insure. So I believe that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I think part of the reason why people don't insure is because there's a general lack of understanding, of how the insurance itself can actually help to reinstate you back to your position of loss. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. But I think that for every business owner, if you don't have insurance, then you're probably just putting your business at risk. Insurance is one of the most underrated financial tools. People think about making money, how do I make money, invest the money, and often forget how to protect. They don't worry about protecting that money. Insurance is one way of protecting your business from unforeseen, losses. So if there's a fire, there's, a flooding. And you'd also recall that a few years ago, we had the major incident for those people that are based in Lagos on Marina, where people were at work and then after work just looked out and the cars were, you know, underwater. So beyond the business, even your assets, you know, people have properties, people have cars. The cost of buying a car today is astronomical. You have to plan and save towards buying one. Imagine that that car is stolen, you know, where do you start from? So insurance is a very useful tool. And I think that a lot of people just need to pay attention to it. We are always advised, you know, where you're unclear or you're not sure what to do, talk to an insurance broker. The role of a broker is to guide you, and the services are at no cost. You know, they're able to bring out those fine prints, help you to understand what you should be buying. We also hear people say, oh, but I bought this insurance policy when I had a claim, they were not able to pay the claim. From where we sit, we know that insurance companies do pay claims. We know that thousands of businesses were reinstated, you know, following those incidences that I spoke about. So insurance works. You just need to understand what it is that, you know, you're trying to do. Talk to a specialist or an insurance broker that can provide you that sort of support. And to your second question around the type of policies or the type of insurance that people should, you know, pay attention to, I'll just break it simply into two buckets. I'll talk about businesses, right? Because I mean, that's the source of our livelihood. Now, if you have a business, three key areas that you should pay attention to, and I'll use the acronym APO, APO, your assets, your people, and your operations. You know, think about risk from those three dimensions. Asset meaning, do you have a shop? Do you have a property where you're operating for? Is that property, you know, insured? What are the risks? What are the things that you should insure that property against? It's not sufficient to just buy a fire policy or a theft policy. You know, in the instance of NSAS, it wasn't a case of fire, it wasn't, you know, theft. It was just, you know, civil commotion, right? Riots, civil commotion, and all of that. So think about those assets and make sure that, you know, your fire policy is robust enough and can protect adequate cover. For the people side, you have people that work with you, you know, employees. By regulation, if you have 3 or more employees, you should have group life on their behalf, you know, but, and what the group life does basically is in the case of death of those employees, something happens to those employees, you want to be able to compensate their beneficiaries. You're not paying out of pocket, you know, to sort out those beneficiaries. And you can extend this to cover things like critical illness. You can extend it to cover things like permanent disability, temporary disability. The third one is your operations. You move goods from one place to the other. Are those things insured? What happens if the goods get damaged in transit? You know, what happens if the things get stolen in transit? You know, so think about your operations and make sure that all of the risk, you know, along that operation is actually, you know, transferred to an insurance company. On the personal side, I think that I can't overemphasize the need for life insurance. You know, for people that work in a formal structure that have group life by their employees, this means that if anything happens to you, your employer is going to pay your beneficiary up to 3 times your total annual salary. But a lot of people don't work in a formal environment. So what do? Get a life policy. The life policy just makes sure that your beneficiaries are taken care of in your absence, and they're not having to run helter-skelter looking for how to, you know, sort out immediate bills. Beyond the life insurance, everybody has an asset. I hear people say, oh, but I don't own my own house, but you own content in the house. You have instances where armed robbers or, you know, people would enter your house and take away your things, even your phone. You know, insure your personal assets and make sure that, you know, in case there's a loss or there's a damage, you can rely on the insurance company to take care of it. So I'll stop at that point, Juliet. Back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ibiyemi. Thanks for the APO concept. Thank you so much. I would like this question to be taken by Amy. Amy, if you don't mind, is about the concept of trusteeship. A lot of us don't understand what it means. But so I'd like you to shed more light on it and how we can benefit from it if we set it up with the Stanbic IBTC Trustee Limited.
All right, thank you, Juliet. So I'll just explain what a trust is first before I start talking about the benefits. A trust is simply a structure where an individual known as the settlor transfers assets to the trustee to hold in trust for certain beneficiaries. So you can have what's called a living trust, where in your lifetime you set that up. Now, assets must be in the trust. Your intentions for those assets also must be specifically stated. The beneficiaries also have to be stated. Now, what that does is that if anything happens to an individual, the asset in the trust does not belong to you. So that asset technically doesn't go through the probate process. So if anything happened, that doesn't form part of your estate. So invariably it's safeguarded. Now, you would determine the terms of the trust. So what should happen to the assets? How should the beneficiaries get assets given to them? How should they get the monies or whatever it is that you have stated? It has to be clearly defined, and that will be captured in what is called a trust deed. Now, the trust deed is the binding document between us as trustees and you setting up the trust, but it has to be for a lawful purpose to achieve that objective of which it's being set up. You can have an education trust, for instance, with the sole purpose of education. You can have a living trust, which is what we see most people that have accumulated wealth set up. They put their assets into the trust, and some of the objective is to ensure that if anything happened to them, there's a seamless transfer of their wealth from them, of course, in the trust to their beneficiaries. So it doesn't have to go through the probate process because, like I mentioned earlier, these assets are not theirs. It is the trust assets owned by the trustees who will continue to administer. The assets in the trust are confidential. So you are protecting the assets one, and then it's confidential, unlike other instruments like a will, where it's a public document and everybody gets to see that. So in the case of death, death of the settlor, of the person setting up the trust, the assets in the trust will continue to be administered by the trustees in line with what has been specified. The benefit of which asset protection is one of which I've mentioned. Confidentiality is another thing. It doesn't go through probate. So the expenses and the delays that you go through with ensuring that assets in an individual name, probate and the likes and the estate taxes applicable are not applicable in the case of the trust. Now with Stanbic IBTC trustees as an institution, we have a team of seasoned professionals who have the wealth of experience and expertise to be able to carry out these things. We're part of a strong brand that has both local and international presence that can deal with several structures across jurisdictions to assist you in achieving your objectives. And the last thing I'd like to say here is that it's important that those plans be put in place, because the truth is, if you don't put a plan like that in place, like I mentioned, the education, for instance, you have a situation where something happens and then your hard work and sweat is lost. Back to you, Juliet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. I will confess, when I hear of trust, sometimes I get scared. It's like planning for when you leave. But thanks for that. It's always good to plan. It's always good to plan, and it's always good to set up trust for the people we leave behind. What a very nice thing to talk about, but it is what it is. Thanks, Amy. I would like Bisola to take this one. Bisola, if you don't mind, I want you to give this advice specifically to women. If we want to achieve financial stability and wealth management, what would you advise we do? This is for Bisola.
Thanks, Juliet. I'll start with just a little quick story. When I was younger, my grandfather had a wallet for all of my cousins, so grandchildren. And every time, you go and visit an adult, they will always give you money. So all of us kept our money with my grandfather. Along the way, my cousins took theirs. I didn't. When I was going to university, my grandfather brought out all the money that he has saved for me over the years. Now, of course, he would go to the bank, change it anytime currency changes. And he did a great thing in his own wisdom. I was so thrilled because that spoke to that put money away aspect that I talked about earlier. But what he didn't do, which I have then learned being an adult and being in this industry, is what did he do with the money? Inflation today in Nigeria is about 16, 17%. So if you were just putting your money away and not really looking at what you're putting it into, yes, you have that bulk money, but it's not going to get you there. So the next step is you have to invest that money, not just putting money away. We've established that, but you have to invest it. Every single one of us here has a bank account, has a relationship with a bank or an investment bank, something. So it's not just for you to go and keep your money in the bank. No, it's not for you to keep your money and the bank does whatever it wants to do with it. It's for you to take ownership and say, I'm giving this money, what am I getting in return? Your money has to be on steroids, because what is financial freedom to me? Financial freedom is when you're at that point where I'm hustling now, I'm making money now. There's going to be a time where I need to reduce my hustle. My money needs to be able to speak for me at that time. So you want to, regardless of what your sources are now, you want it to turn into some sort of passive income. What is passive income? When you're sleeping, your money is still making money for you. So any money that you make now, you need to put it out there to go and make more. That's where that concept my colleague mentioned of compounding interest. This is where you look for investments that everyone has different risk tolerance, but you need to find investments that you can put your money in and be able to sleep at night. That means different things to different people. If you're able to put that money away and be able to sleep at night, that money should be making more money. You start out with 100,000. Every time you make more, you add to it. And that 100,000 with compounding interest, it means that, let's say you get an interest of 10%, just keeping it simple. That 100,000 becomes 110. Well, guess what? The next time the interest is going to accrue, it's not going to accrue on 100,000, it's going to accrue on 110, and it keeps going up like that. Which also brings me to my next point. You start small, but you have to be able to push yourself to the next step. I mentioned 5,000. By the next time you're getting whether a raise or you've now turned your passion into a side hustle, it's not for you to go and spend that money. Please, by all means, reward yourself. You've done well. Take a portion, buy yourself something nice, but it must be a small portion. Because the person that was able to live on 100,000 and is now making 120 does not need that 120 to live. You must be able to shift that amount that you were investing before and keep increasing it. You keep increasing it. With every raise, you adjust your lifestyle just a little bit, but it also means you adjust. My rule of thumb has always been that the same percentage I was investing, if I made 100,000, if you decide that it's 10% you want to invest, it means that when you make 120,000, you must, at the very least, invest 12,000. In fact, you should try to do more because you were fine when you were at 100,000. So you just need to shift it a little bit. So that brought me to the next point. The power of compounding interest cannot be underemphasized because your money continues to go and make more money, which brings me to my next point, diversification. We've talked about risk tolerance. Diversification means that you invest part of it in a particular instrument. Diversification is what is going to allow you to say, you know what, all my money is earned in Naira, but we're an import-dependent economy, which means I need to have exposure to dollars, to some kind of foreign investment. Do I need to convert all my money to Naira? If you can, but most of us can't because we need it to meet our daily obligations. But perhaps can I convert some of it to dollars? Yes, because that then helps you along the way, one, to edge against devaluation, to edge against inflation, and more importantly, it gives you a different currency, especially now that there are even investments locally in dollars. Without going into detail of the investment, there are investments today in dollars that you can earn anything from 5 to 20%, depending on how much you have and what your risk tolerance is in Nigeria, within Stanbic IBTC. So why not save? So you need to watch what you're spending from the money that you're making. You need to start saving now. Importantly, you need to look at instruments that you're investing in that would have some sort of compounding effect. And you need to diversify your investment. And diversification helps because there could just be one moment where you were so bold, you were feeling very great with yourself, and you decided to invest in something that at the time you thought you had done your calculations and it made sense. It may have been risky, but it made sense to you because you had done your homework. But somewhere along the line, that didn't pan out. But guess what? It's not going to kill you. Why? Because it was only a portion of your wealth that you put in there. Because you have put in other asset classes or other investment types that would have helped you to cushion the blow of the one that does not do well. But if that happens to have done well, because again, based on your research, based on your calculation, then that just catapults you into the next step. I'd like to stop here today. I'm happy to answer more questions, but I'd like to stop here for now to take more. Thank you. Over to you, Juliet.
Bisola, I had to take a deep breath. But all the things you said, the steroid part, my money being on steroid part, stuck with me. Because I can't take steroids, but my money can take on my behalf, meaning that my money starts to compound. I would love it. So I'm going to come back to you on that, on the instruments you have in the bank, in the group, in the Stanbic IBTC group that can help me make money on steroids. Somebody said she wants to make 20% increase in her investment. I saw it on the chat room. So I'm interested in that. But before we come back to you, Bisola, I'd like to thank all of us who joined late. And I'd like to tell you quickly that we're talking about the theme for today, this month's roundtable is the woman and her money. And we have the Stanbic IBTC group team members here enlightening us on how we can achieve more money in our lives as women. So we have teams from the stockbroking segment, the private banking sector, trustee services, insurance, and business banking, all from Stanbic IBTC group. All right, so we'll come back to Bisola because I want that's my money on steroids. So I need the products that the group has to offer. But before that, I would like the WIMBIZ HQ to put up the poll result that we did at the very beginning. If we can put up the poll quickly. All right, so we had 4 questions in the poll. The first question is, how can I make more money? How often have you asked yourself this question? 91% of us claim that we have asked this question a lot. Second question was, does your financial investment match your goals? 57% of us said no. I am in that category. I typed no in my answer. Question number 3, have you experienced a bad investment? 80% said yes. I'm in that category as well. And number 4, do you have an insurance policy? And 60% said no. I'm always choosing the ones that I answered, so I'm in the 60%, in case you're wondering why I'm choosing yes or no at different times. All right, so this is the poll result, and we will go back to Bisola quickly. Bisola, don't disappear. We are still on the steroid thing. I want my money on steroid. And my question for you is, what advice would you give to women like me who want to achieve financial stability and wealth management? No, so no. So that's not the question I want to ask. Let's ask, what products and benefits does Stanbic IBTC Bank offer private banking clients? Because I will be a private banking client. What products and benefits does the group offer?
Okay, all right, thanks, Juliet. So from a Stanbic IBTC perspective, a private banking business, what a private banker does for you, so should you be in Stanbic IBTC Private Bank, is be able to be a conduit to every other product or solutions that the bank has. When I mean the bank, I'm talking about the group now. With my colleagues here, we have people from insurance, we have stockbroking, our asset management business, which is mostly our investment arm. You have that dedicated banker that sits with you and understands your goals, understands your challenges, and try to come up with solutions that can help you to meet your goals. It goes from anything from just your basic bank account to access to loans at discounted rate. Even your banking are done with less fees than if you were not a private banking RM. Of course, there are lifestyle benefits, which has to do with access to Priority Pass that gives you access to 2,000 lounges over the world, all over the world. It is subsidized. But the most important thing is that relationship manager understanding you, understanding the peculiarities, the unique situation that you find yourself in, and able to bring in the experts. I say Stanbic IBTC, we're a member of Standard Bank. Standard Bank is 159 years old. We have expertise in all areas when it comes to finances, is to be able to get that right person in front of you to be able to create those solutions that meet your need. And along the way, you get them at discounted rate, you get better fees. Let's say it's fixed deposit, you get better rates. If it's loans, you have lower rates than everybody else. But it's really just that one-stop shop. to connect everybody else to you, just for you, just to meet your needs on your goal to financial freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bisola. Thank you so much for that. I would like to call on Bumi once again. Bumi, this question is for you. If investing is a good financial decision, we've learned that for the last 1 hour or so, but how does investment in stock help the Nigerian woman improve her assets and take charge of her finances? Bumi, you have to unmute. I think your microphone is still on mute. Yes. Oh, you muted again. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much. And I think my colleagues have said so much about investing. I think there's this studies about women saying that in terms of investing, women don't invest as much as men. And basically it's the reason being men take more risk. Men are more, the women are a bit more conservative. Men are more, they are more aggressive in terms of taking risks. They earn more, and so they're able to take a lot of risk. Women are a bit on the conservative side. They don't go as, they're not as aggressive as men, and they're not, they tend to think a lot about things, or think a lot about investment before they make that decision. But also some studies also show that women live, in terms of lifespan, they live longer than men. So as a woman, there's a need to make long-term plans or long-term investments to ensure that at least the future is kind of secured. There are a number of investments that can be made depending on your financial goal, which we have talked about. As a woman, you need to plan. You need to look at what are the realities on ground. What are the things I need money for? We all know that we need money for our day-to-day, we need money for our maybe a monthly or whatever it is. Based on the realities on ground, we need to plan what our investment goals are. What do we need to put our money in? So as a woman, you also need to look at it. Or do I go for short-term investment, medium-term, or long-term? So if you look at the short-term investment, you look at the things like these investments that are like between 3 months to 1 year. You look at things like treasury bills. You have treasury bills that are for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. I also see that you have mutual funds. Mutual funds gives you that access to have small funds, but to have access to several companies or several stocks or several investments. It's like you're joining a pool of other investors, and then the fund manager invest the money in several types of investment. And then you look at the medium term. Medium term, you look at things like savings bond. What we have is savings bond. You look at 2 to 3 years. Currently, the federal government rolls out savings bond on a monthly basis, and that helps you to plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Do I want to go to school the next 2 years? Do you have expenses that I want to do that I want to meet in the next 2 to 3 years? Or do I want to pay fees? Or do I want to? There's so many things you can plan within 2 to 3 years. And the good thing about savings bond is that it's a monthly type of investment, and then in the next 2 years, you know that you get your capital back, and you also got some interest within that period. So that one has like a 2 to 3 year period. And you can also look at the stock market. There are some stocks you can also invest for in the medium term, in the medium to long term. So what we advise is that in the medium to long term, you can do the stock market, because it gives you access to dividends, it gives you access to capital appreciation. Dividend means that you are getting something back from the company as a shareholder to say that I invested in this stock and this is what I'm getting back, and this is like a payment, or like company has made money and I'm paying back the shareholders for investing in my company. And then you also have long-term bonds. So when you have bonds that are below above 3 years, you see 5-year bonds, 10-year bonds, you have real estate investment. Those are the kind of things that give you long-term investment plans. So those ones you can have them for, like, you can have bonds for 7 years, 10 years, even 20. There are 20 years or 30-year bonds that helps you plan, so that in the next 30 years, most of this, when they pay you coupons like on a semi-annual basis, that means that every 6 months you get something back. And therefore stocks too, there are dividends that come back from this investment that you know that at least it helps you in planning. It's kind of like a form of cash flow. So basically, as a woman, you need to plan properly in terms of, okay, what are the things I need to invest my money in? So the first thing we say is that maybe you look at your investment approach. There are different ways to invest. You look at your current financial situation. You look based on your investment approach on it to say that, okay, this is my financial goal. This is how I want to invest, and this is the things I want to achieve. So you look at it, what are the kind of investing I want to do? Is it to grow, or is it growth investing or value investing in terms of, okay, do I want to grow my capital to a particular point? Do I want to use it to buy a house in the next 2 or 3 years or the next 10 years? Am I buying stocks to be that are on the value that I think I can make some gain on? And then you also invest to earn some income, like I said, dividend or maybe coupon payment. Those are types of income investment. And then you also invest based on your social beliefs or your religious beliefs, and look at other small cap investing. Then narrow down a budget. It's like my other colleagues have said, it is good to be disciplined. Have a budget in place. No matter what you do, have that budget. Say that every month or every periodic time, maybe monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, how often, I don't know how often you earn, but whatever it is that you're earning, that this is every particular period, I'm going to dedicate 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever it is, and try not to go outside that. As much as possible, you've assessed your income, you've assessed your expenses, and you've looked at it to say that these are the things that are necessary, that I need to do. Also, taking care, looking at the fact that you also need to take care of yourself as a woman. So outside of that, you now look at, okay, I need a budget. I need to say that this every month, every week, every 2 months, or every 3 months, I must put it into investing. It's better to invest whatever extra funds. There might be times that you have some extra funds after taking care of yourself, treating yourself, where you decide, okay, in the next 2 to 3 years or the next 5 years, this is what I want to put my money in. And then it's because it's risky for you to say that, okay, school fees money, I'm going to want to go and invest with, and then you start begging people where you want to pay school fees, or where you want to pay rent or something. So you just need to plan properly, narrow down a budget, and then open an account. It is important. Take that bold step. Like I said before, start very small. You are starting small. You're not going into everything at the same time. You start small, and then you build it as time goes on. You build your investment. You try to say, okay, after this is what I'll put in this account every month. I'll put 10% of my income, or after I've taken out expense, I'll be 20%, whatever it is. Then you choose the type of stocks or type of investments you need to do. You can decide that you want to take those risks yourself, because or you can decide to seek financial help. Well, that's why we have fund managers. When I spoke earlier about the mutual funds, you have fund managers that can also help you manage your funds. You don't have to see that. You might not have the time to also go through all those things, say that, okay, these are the things I want to invest in, these are the things I don't want to invest in. That's why you have fund managers to do that for you. But you can also do that yourself. You can look at the company based on the company history, based on what they've been paying, or maybe how well the company has done. You look at the fundamentals, and you look at what it is that aligns with your financial objectives. And you look at the risks. So am I willing to take some particular risk? There are some investment that you go into that they're more risky than the other ones. Although they say, okay, no risk, the higher the risk, the higher the return. But in terms of taking that risk, you have to take calculated risk. Don't just put your money into particular investment because everybody is doing it. Do your research, talk to financial advisors, talk to the experts, read research reports, and then the last thing is diversify your portfolio. It is very, very key to diversify your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Look at it. If you are buying long-term if you're buying long-term, if you're doing long-term investment, which are the stocks, you can also look at the treasury bills, which are 1 year. You can look at the bonds, which pay coupons on a periodic basis. You can look at savings bond I do 2 to 3 years. So you need to have a diverse portfolio. Then put in when you are doing your stocks, look at stocks that maybe like defensive stocks like a Nestle stock and an MTN. You look at the history of the company, you look at the history of the stock, you know that these companies in the next 5, 10, 15 years, they are still there. These are companies that they've churned out good results, and you can also rely on them. So as much as possible, have a financial plan, stick to your financial plan, have a defined financial goal to say that, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve, and I'm going to stick to that. And by starting small, you build yourself along the line, and you're able to achieve what it is you set out to achieve. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Bumi, I know you're out of breath. At the point, I know you were trying to give us as much nugget as possible in the limited time window, and we do appreciate that. We do appreciate that. Well done. Please show these women from the Stanbic IBTC group some love. Please show them some love. These women have cumulatively over 100 years experience in the financial sector. With that kind of experience, they are amazing. Let's just show them some love. Even me, I'm going to start by doing the physical one. You ladies are amazing. Amazing. And we saw the willingness to help, to give back, and we do appreciate. Thank you. There you go. The chat room is on fire. Yes, and we agree. Amazing representative from the Stanbic IBTC group. Thank you. There's so many questions in the chat room, but we also know that we had some people in the background from Stanbic IBTC who were answering questions directly in the Q&A chat room. We also appreciate you. You are not nameless. You are one strong woman, 2 strong women, 3 strong women who stood behind us all this while. Throughout this 1 hour plus we've been here, answering questions that we have that will make us wealthy women and put our money on steroid wheels. Me, I like that one. I just want my money on steroid. That's the only reason I'm coming to the bank. I'm actually coming right after this live. I'm joining the Stanbic IBTC group. Thank you so much. For those that have been asking, chill. The recording will be available to everyone who registered for this roundtable. So do not worry. But since everyone here is giving a bit of advice or two, let me give a non-financial one. When you have professionals heading an online meeting or a physical meeting like that, try and join early. Successful professionals become successful because they take care of the tiny habits. They are on time. They were here 30 minutes before the start time. And at this point, we have to stop. We have over 200 questions, but I know the people online have been answering them. And we say thank you to this group of women. We cannot appreciate you enough. Thank you. At this point, can you please put on the video from the Stanbic IBTC group? Maybe we can learn more from that video.
Easy to flex is a must, and of course, you know everything's on me. Everywhere I be VIP, nobody can do it like me. You don't send nobody. Insurance cover me. You don't send nobody. Insurance cover me.
Get covered with life insurance from Stanbic IBTC Insurance. Visit stanbicibtcinsurance.com to learn more. Stanbic IBTC, a member of Standard Bank Group.
We're a nation of dreamers, believing in our dreams. It can be kila mmoja wetu ana ndoto zake, tukijitahidi.
Stanbic IBTC.
Set I want.
909. Artist Wallet. Gigi. Stanbic IBTC. Gang. 909. Gang. Whoa, it can be. Gang. When you use 909. Gigi. Send money via 909. Buy airtime via 909. Sub data via 909. Pay bills via 909. That's the 909 hash. 909 is the gang code. Dial up now with all phones. Use Artist Wallet if you want code. Set I want gang. 909 gang. Pay bills gang. Account opening gang. Set I want loan approved gang. Send me your account number gang. Credit alert gang. Gang. This gang is your short code. Dial star 909 hash to join the gang today.
Okay, we're back. We are back. Awesome, I agree. Thank you, Aki. Oh, my microphone is on mute. Start my video. Oopsie, I'm so sorry. My video was off. Apologies. Thank you. All right, so we'll just look at the chat room and pick some questions. Just very few questions, very few. I don't know which question to answer. There's so many. So I have a question from Anonymous. Can we now contribute our pension account independent of the employer? This is talking about the defined contribution. So you're probably talking about contributing personally to your PFA, your account, in addition to what your employer has already contributed.
Yeah,
that's additional pension, I think.
Juliet, I can help with that.
Please, go ahead. Thank you.
Good. So certainly, so if you already have an employer-defined contribution, which is the one that is taken out of your salary every month towards your pension, you can also make what we call a voluntary pension. This is where after so the money that first goes in through your employer is pre-tax. So that's before your money is taxed. But the money that comes to you at the end of the day is your net income, which is after tax. You can take some of it and decide that you want to add voluntary pension. Actually, that would also help you to make that money pre-tax, which is in addition. So there's a tax benefit to that you can take money outside of what already is contributed by employer, but there are limits to it. I know there's like what you call like a 1/3. That the amount that you take extra is not more than 1/3 of your total income. And that goes towards your RSA, towards your pension. And clearly there are tax benefits to it. It also helps you to grow. And one thing I want people to realize in the pension business is everybody contributes money towards a big pot. When you have a big pot, you have professionals, fund managers, that are able to command a higher interest rates than when I go Bisola Fashade with my own little 50,000. They are investing billions, and therefore they're able to get a better return. So that is one way that you can enhance your retirement, not just relying on what your employer does, but you also making additional, and that money is separate. There are rules as to when you can take it out. You don't actually have to wait till retirement to take it out. I think there's a 2-year, you must be there for 2 years, you can take out 50%. So if you wanted to do something with it, like you wanted to buy a house, you wanted to start a business, again, it has helped you to accrue a bulk amount that you may on your own may not have been able to do. And it comes right out of source. By source, I mean your paycheck. I hope that was able to answer your question. The answer is shortly, yes, you can.
Yes, I got that from the beginning.
Okay.
Then we went on into the numerous advantages of doing that, which is the tax savings, because the contribution is pre-tax. And that was amazing. Thank you for that. So I have someone who has a sick child and is wondering what products she can invest in that will help her fund her sick child. I don't know how to, can somebody help me with that?
Yes, Juliet, I can try to address it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would address it from a health insurance point of view. What health insurance does is to help you take care of the medical bills of you and your family. If you take a health insurance plan, it simply means you pay a premium to an insurance company or an HMO provider. And if you go to the hospital, you will be treated without having to pay. Health insurance is another way, to transfer that burden, because nobody plans to be sick, right? And you definitely don't set money aside for sick days. What we've talked about here today is setting money aside, investing, compounding. But the truth is nobody sets money aside to be sick. So what we advise that you do is to buy a health insurance plan. And that health insurance plan would cater for the medical bills for you and your family members as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, BME, for that. Thank you so much. I mean, that was really necessary to know. Thank you. Health insurance, it is. I have another question here. This is religiously sensitive. The person wants to know if you have any product that is Sharia compliant, right? Any investment or product that is Sharia compliant. Anyone?
Yes, Juliet, I can take that. Yes, there are a number of products within the Stanbic IBTC group that are Sharia compliant in line with their religious beliefs. We have the mutual funds. There are some that are one that is called the ethical fund, and we have some Sharia compliant investment. As there's a mutual fund called Sharia fund, specifically called Sharia fund. So outside the Sharia fund, we also have the ethical fund. Also, if you have a stockbroking account, there are some stocks that aligns with this belief of being Sharia compliant. So you have companies that that they don't invest in maybe alcohol, gambling, or maybe interest related businesses. So if you have a stockbroking account, there are also some stocks, listed stocks on the floor of the Nigerian exchange that aligns with that view or position. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mbumi. That was very key. Thank you. So I have another question here. So given the times we are in with respect to the foreign exchange fluctuations, what guarantee do I have that my dollar will be given back to me if there is a government policy that insists on converting all dollars to Naira? This is more fiscal than, yeah, but try. You're on mute, Bumi.
Bumi, are you taking that? Okay.
Okay, I can give it a shot. Currently, okay, there is no policy to say that. You're correct. There's been some FX liquidity issues, which has kind of tightened how dollars flow within the system. But as it is, when you have dollars in your DOM account, you have access to that dollars. You can withdraw cash for that from your DOM account. There are no policies currently to say that you can't access all dollar denominated or dollar funds in your DOM account should be converted to Naira. There are no CBN policies to support that at the moment. So once you have a DOM account, you have dollars in there, you have access to them. You can withdraw them at any time. It might be tight in terms of liquidity, which you've also alluded to, but you have access to those to that amount in your account. Thank you.
Thank you, Bumi. Thank you for that. So, ladies,
I'd like to add just a little bit more to that. Okay. So there are no policies, just as Bumi has mentioned. The fear is then, what if the policy then does exist? It's also important to know that apart from dollars in your bank account, one of the things that we have at Stanbic IBTC, Bumi mentioned it earlier, is our dollar fund. The dollar fund is not necessarily just a fixed deposit account. These are mostly backed by Euro bonds. And Euro bonds are whether government issued, which is Nigeria itself, or corporate issues, which are different companies within and outside Nigeria, and even other country issuances. Without going into the specifics, there could be Ghana, there could be Angola, all of that into the Eurobond. So regardless of what could possibly, which we don't anticipate, happen in your DOM accounts, there's still that bit that you have invested that can be transferred anywhere as long as the account belongs to you. So you could have your money in dollar fund, and when you want to exit your dollar fund, it doesn't have to go into your accounts locally. It could be your account anywhere else. So that gives you some kind of comfort that your dollar is fine in terms of being able to access it. I hope that was able to shed more light. Thank you.
Oh, that was amazing. Thanks, Bisola. Thank you for that clarification and addition. So ladies in the house, Halima has dropped a link from the Stanbic IBTC group. Please do some justice to that link. Halima, you can drop it again so that it's a new message. This is in the chat room. Then I'll go back to the Q&A. I would like Amy to answer this question because Amy was the one that talked about multiple streams of income. So someone is asking, are there challenges in having multiple streams of income if not properly managed? In what ways can it be properly managed for an effective business expansion?
Okay, so I'll answer it based on what multiple streams of income is. So people may wonder, you have a bank account, you're in paid employment or you're working, you have your salary. When you take your salary, don't eat all of it. You need to plant some seeds, which is what we've been saying from the beginning. Take a portion, put it in stocks. The stocks will have what they call dividends, like we explained. You can also have capital appreciation. When they increase in value, you can decide to sell. That comes to you. That's dividend income and capital appreciation. That is based on shares. You can also buy bonds. Bonds, you get coupon payments twice annually. That comes in as additional income to you as well. So you have your salary, one income stream. You have investment in shares, another income stream. You have investments in bonds, another income stream. You can also have investments in mutual funds, like we've been explaining. Now, the mutual fund investments, you put them with a fund manager and buy into the Stanbic IBTC mutual fund, for instance, the money market, based on your risk appetite. That's another income stream that you have. You can buy land, you can buy own houses. Rental income is another income stream. Somebody put in the chat to say, how do I generate income from as a sit-at-home mom? There are investments online. Do your due diligence, confirm their viability, and then that also serves as income stream. So you can actually have income streams, but you need to be able to find what works for you based on your risk appetite, based on your liquidity requirements, and based on your investment objectives, so that you know which particular one. Some people also do buying and selling as an income stream. Some people do all sorts of things that are legitimate, but you need to find what works. And those are the income streams. Somebody, and Bisola also mentioned passive income. So monies that you have, royalties also come from maybe your books that you have written and things like that. There are various ways. Just find the right opportunities, do your due diligence, and the income streams. If you open your eyes, you will actually see them. Thank you.
Amy, please don't go. You were dropping words when you were talking. Even me, I was a bit confused when you talked about that compounding thing. Now I've seen the question of that. So it's an opportunity for me to learn. And the question goes, can you please elaborate more on compounding savings to beat inflation?
Okay, so Bisola had mentioned it, but I'll also speak to it about, so to beat inflation now, you have to have funds in dollars. You have to have conversions. Now, currently CBN, you cannot bring in cash deposits that you have traded with a over the counter into your account and make them into investments. But there are genuine opportunities. We have people in diaspora who we interact with where they need monies in Naira and they have dollars. So you can have those conversations with them. They inflow those monies. When they inflow those dollars, those are the kind of dollars that you can put into the dollar fund because you can't take cash. Any cash deposit that you have brought into the system has to be taken out via cash. But when you find ways, genuine ways, you also need to be careful about the inflows that come into your position regarding dollars so that you don't have laundered funds. Maybe you're buying from an aboki or buying from somebody and the monies are laundered monies and then it comes to you. you have to be careful about that. But there are genuine ways. If you look within your network, there are people that genuinely want to send Naira. They want to send dollars for Naira. You look for those opportunities, and then we see inflows into dollars. There's the Euro bonds that Bisola spoke about. Euro bonds is an investment in dollar instruments like states or corporates, and they pay coupons twice yearly. So that also comes to you as additional income. You also have the Stanbic IBTC dollar fund that we also have been mentioned, where you put your monies and then the fund is managed in a pool of Eurobond instruments and the various types of instruments. So what happens about compounding is that the money that you have continues to grow, it continues to build up, it continues to overflow. But the truth is you have to plant, you have to sow the seed, you have to water it, you have to watch it grow for it to compound. Thank you.
Amy, thank you for that, but don't go. Don't go. You talked about crypto as well, and I'm seeing a crypto question here. So can you throw more light on cryptocurrency investment? I am quite skeptical and would appreciate if my fears can be allayed. I am completely in support of multiple streams of income. Thanks.
Okay, so I'll tell you my own personal story about crypto and how I found out about crypto. So this is me. So because I'm in a system where fortunately we do all these things, and my motto has been, I cannot be counting other people's money and not count my own. So I have investments in shares, I have investments in bonds, I have mutual funds and the likes. But you see, the world is changing. Bitcoin has been around for some years now, since 2010, I believe. And I was looking for avenues and opportunities, and then something struck where I was doing something and I needed to have Bitcoin to actually expand what I needed to do. And I had those funds. And I couldn't use it for what I wanted to do. And I was told that, you know what, just open a wallet. So open a Bitcoin wallet. There are several types of coin wallets you can open. With your smartphone, you're able to access this. Like I said, do your own due diligence. And I did that. And as at that time in November of 2020, it was, one Bitcoin was $15,000 for one Bitcoin. Of course, I cannot buy one Bitcoin. So whatever amount you have, $100, $200, you get fractions, you get 0.0, whatever it is. And I held on to that. And in January of the following year, 2021, Bitcoin had doubled. Bitcoin last year got to as high as 56,000. It's all-time high. Currently, Bitcoin is trading in the neighborhood of 20s, 27, 28, if I checked, or 30, thereabouts. But what I'm saying invariably is that the world is moving to a situation where digital currency is the way forward. There are online videos you can listen to that speaks about cryptocurrency. Even countries are going to digital currencies for their own countries. So it's important that we also do our due diligence, have an understanding of what is happening in the global world. We're sitting, people can join from anywhere in the world. People are able to access several things. People are able to spend. We hear Elon Musk and some other institutions also going into this space. You will take funds that you are willing to lose. And like we've spoken about diversification, it's important that you also do that. So it's not all your salary you go and put inside. Look for monies, do your own research, have an understanding and explore these things. The truth is, you want to be in a position that when it does crystallize, you're not just being left out. It's information, it's awareness, it's being able to carry out your own due diligence and align with what is happening globally. Many years ago, we didn't think that we could sit down here and have this conversation. People joining in, over 1,000 people on this kind of platform joining. If we were using a meeting room, for instance, we wouldn't get everybody here. But the world is getting smaller by the day. Look for these opportunities, do your own due diligence, and you will find them. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you're waiting for the next question.
No, I'm not waiting. That's fine. If there's another question, I'll take it.
There are so many, but we have to work with time. We are professionals and we have to work with time. And these ladies here, their time is expensive. Right? So we have to also release them as well. wow. The WIMBIZ is going to put a link in the chat room. I saw one by Elizabeth. Please put it again. But I think these women deserve more hugs, more accolades, amazing shout out. Just use the right emoji from your phone, from your computer, and just appreciate these amazing executives from the Stanbic IBTC group. Amazing, intelligent, confident, bold people. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Do not forget the evaluation from WIMBIZ. Please fill it. Do not worry as well. You will get the recording form for this roundtable. Everyone here will get it. But I mean, we need to appreciate them, because when you're watching the recording, you won't be able to appreciate these amazing women. I've learned so much, and I'm humbled by the wealth of knowledge in this room. So thank you, Bumi. Thank you, Bisola. Thank you, BME. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. That means BME and Remy Lekwan. Thank you so much. I'll recap some of the things I've learned. When you finish appreciating them, you can just use one keyword and just type what you learned from this book. Please don't pick the steroid one, because I'm going to close with that steroid one, because that is my favorite. So what I have learned today: as a woman, I can be wealthy. As in, I can create wealth, not necessarily inherited. I can start from scratch and create wealth. As a woman, I need to learn to apply the principle of multiple streams of income, not putting all your eggs in one basket. That was amazing. I've also learned that I am in charge of my life, my finances. I am the driver, in the driver's seat. Other people are just going to support me. I've learned that if you lack awareness, seek out the experts. Let them tell you how, tell you what. I've learned to invest in sync with the times. I mean, there's no need to invest in the COVID vaccine now. So there are other things you can invest in. I've learned the power of compounding. I've learned how to multiply my money to the extent that my wealth becomes a legacy. So it's like leaving money for my children and children's children. I've also learned the CSRO part of wealth, meaning you make so much money, you grow so much that others gain value from it. That was amazing. And of course, last and definitely not the least, I have learned that my money can run on steroids. If you're reading it, we'll ignore yours, because I have learned that. I mean, it is so epic, it is so true. And I appreciate these amazing women for this amount of knowledge that has been dropped in the last 1 or 2 hours. Thank you. The chat room is still on fire. Remember to fill the Stanbic IBTC link. Please drop it again. Just drop it again for those who missed it, so they can get in touch with you if your questions were not answered during this roundtable. Yes, look for the link. Please drop that link again. So WIMBIZ HQ, please drop the evaluation link and the Stanbic IBTC rep that is working behind the scene. Awesome, I've seen it. So just drop the link. So if you have any more questions, any more concerns, you want to connect with these women, please fill that link and they will get in touch with you. At this point, I'm going to call on WIMBIZ HQ. I'm going to call on Precious. Precious, if you're in the house, I think at this time you come and maybe make some announcements, if you have any announcement from HQ.
Thank you, Juliet. What an awesome session. So amazing having to just learn from this, experienced professionals. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Precious Majekodumi, and I serve as the programs manager here at WIMBIZ. Please, as we've begun doing, please remain patient and just take the evaluation of this roundtable. I want to also thank the participants for completing the evaluation form, and just to inform you that the evaluation link will also be sent to you in a follow-up email for those who are unable to fill right now. Please endeavor to complete it, as we would love to hear your feedback, as in your feedback is very, very important. Once again, we'd like to appreciate our sponsors, Stanbic IBTC, for supporting the June edition of the WIMBIZ 2022 Roundtable. We kindly invite our dear participants who are not WIMBIZ associates to join us today. We appreciate our associates that have renewed their membership and encourage those that are yet to renew theirs to do so. For further inquiries, please contact us via email at membership@wimbiz.org. Our upcoming programs, we have our 2022 WIMBIZ Women in Politics Mentoring Mock Presidential Debate and Graduation, which holds this Saturday, June 11th, 2022. Our WIMBIZ Women on Boards Mentoring session as well will be holding next Saturday, June 18th, 2022. Save the dates. Our annual WIMBIZ 21st conference will be coming up in November this year. It is scheduled to hold November 3rd to 4th, 2022. Please save the date. Please follow us on all our social media handles, LinkedIn, Women in Management, Business and Public Service, on Twitter at WIMBIZ and Instagram, WIMBIZNG. Kindly visit the website to register for upcoming programs. We hope that you enjoy the session. We hope that we look forward to having you join us at the next Roundtable. Over to you now, Juliet.
Thank you, Precious. Thank you so much. You heard her. I'm not going to repeat what she said. So please join WIMBIZ. If you are in WIMBIZ, please pay your subscription. And if you haven't filled your evaluation form, look out for it in your email and by all means do so. Before I hand over to one last lady, I want you to pick an adjective that describes this session today. Just one adjective, just one word, and type it in the chat room. One word. Awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Brilliant. Thank you, Sylvia. Insightful. Thank you, Fumi. Insightful. Engaging. Thank you, Priscilla. Eye-opener. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Let the comments keep coming in. Let it keep coming in. And I will now call on Ezine Anosike. For those who don't know her, Ezine is the head people and culture of Stanbic IBTC Bank. Ezine, please.
Thank you so much, Juliet. Thank you for putting it all together. It's been an absolutely great session. Hello, everyone, ladies, as well as gentlemen. I know a number of our men joined the session. Wow, is all I can say. It's been such an informative session. Personally, I've learned a whole lot. On behalf of the management of Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, and Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMBIZ. I want to say a very, very big thank you to everyone for taking out time from your busy schedules to join today's roundtable session, which has indeed been very enlightening, to say the least. I hope it was worth your while. And a very big thank you to our seasoned experts. I call them sisters, Emi, Bisola, Bumi, Ibiemi, and Bremi, for your time and all the amazing nuggets shared. They are very valuable and very valuable financial tips, and which would help us grow our finances and move us closer to financial stability. You are all phenomenal. I call you the most valued players. And the right time to put everything we have been told today into practice is no other time but now. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. And I hope to see everyone at the top of our finances. I'm already there, and I hope to see everyone. Take care and have a very pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezine. You've heard from Ezine and the Stanbic IBTC group. And the final word is so apt. Go start now to change your corner of the world. Bye, everyone. Bye, ladies.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye, all. Thank you.
Isola, thank you.
Shine your eye.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, bye.